Shadow of ambition. The 43rd floor of Reed Technologies gleamed like a fortress of glass and steel against the Manhattan skyline. Alexander Reed stood at the window, hands clasped behind his back, watching the city that had once seemed determined to break him now sprawl beneath his feet. "Mr. Reed, your 9 o'clock is here," his assistant announced from the doorway. Alexander turned, his expression neutral despite the anticipation he felt. Vertex Systems had been his primary target for acquisition for months, and securing their lead software engineer would be the first domino to fall. "Send her in," he said, moving to his desk with measured steps. Sophia Chen entered with quiet confidence, her dark hair falling in a sleek line past her shoulders. Her resume had impressed him. MIT graduate, 5 years at prominent tech firms, and stellar recommendations. What interested him more was her recent work at Vertex on their proprietary encryption algorithm, the very technology he needed. "Ms. Chen, welcome to Reed Technologies." He gestured to the chair opposite his desk. "Thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Reed." Her voice was soft but steady, her eyes meeting his directly. "Your credentials are impressive. What brings you to leave Vertex after such a promising start?" Sophia smiled slightly. "I believe in moving toward potential, not comfort. Vertex has reached its ceiling. Your company hasn't." Alexander leaned forward, intrigued by her directness. "And what do you know about my company's potential?" "I know you're preparing to revolutionize secure cloud storage for government contracts. I know your competitors are scrambling to match what you haven't even announced yet." She paused. "And I know I can help you succeed." What she didn't say, what she had buried beneath layers of a carefully constructed identity, was that she knew far more than that. She knew that 8 years ago, Alexander Reed had orchestrated the systematic dismantling of Chen Innovations, her father's company. She knew her father had taken his own life after losing everything. And she knew Alexander Reed was responsible. "Impressive research," Alexander said, unaware of her thoughts. "You'll start Monday. My team is developing a new security protocol, and your expertise will be valuable." The project he described was exactly what she'd hoped for: central access to Reed Technologies' core systems and Alexander himself. 6 months of careful preparation were finally paying off. "I look forward to it," Sophia replied, her smile not reaching her eyes. Later that evening, Sophia sat in her sparse apartment, photographs and documents spread across her desk. News clippings of Chen Innovations' collapse. Photos of her father smiling before everything fell apart. Corporate filings showing how Reed had systematically undercut them, stolen their patents through legal loopholes, and driven them to bankruptcy. "I'm in, Dad," she whispered, touching his photograph. "He doesn't suspect anything. In 6 months, I'll have everything I need to destroy him the way he destroyed you." She didn't expect the flash of doubt that followed, the momentary hesitation at the determined look in Alexander's eyes when he spoke of his vision. The man was certainly compelling, his intensity almost magnetic. Sophia shook her head. She couldn't afford to see Alexander Reed as human. To her, he could only be a target. What she didn't know was that Alexander had his own suspicions, not of her true identity, but of her sudden appearance and perfect qualifications. Trust wasn't in his nature, and as he reviewed her file that same evening, he made a note to keep her very close indeed. Dangerous proximity. 3 weeks into her position at Reed Technologies, Sophia found herself working late more often than not. The security protocol project demanded precision, and Alexander insisted on overseeing every aspect personally. Tonight, they were the last 2 people on the floor, surrounded by holographic displays of code architecture. "Your approach to the encryption layering is unorthodox," Alexander said, standing close enough that Sophia could detect the subtle scent of his cologne. "But it's brilliant." Sophia adjusted a parameter in the display. "Sometimes the unexpected solution is the most secure. Hackers look for conventional patterns." Alexander studied her with newfound interest. "Like you did with Vertex's systems?" She tensed momentarily. "I was hired to find vulnerabilities. And you found them all." His lips curved slightly. "Which makes me wonder what vulnerabilities you might find in my company." Their eyes met across the glowing display, and Sophia felt an unexpected flutter in her stomach. Alexander Reed was dangerously perceptive. "Only the ones you want me to find." she answered carefully. He moved around the table, reducing the distance between them. I'm beginning to think I underestimated you, Ms. Chen. Most people do. The following days established a pattern. Long hours working side by side, professional conversations that gradually included personal observations. Alexander spoke of his childhood in foster care, his scholarship to Stanford, his first failed startup. Sophia shared carefully edited stories of her life, keeping the truth hidden behind half-revelations. One evening, as rain pounded against the windows, Alexander ordered dinner for them both. You didn't have to do that, Sophia said as they sat in his office, surrounded by containers of Thai food. Alexander shrugged. I've noticed you forget to eat when you're focused on a problem. The fact that he'd noticed such a detail unsettled her. She was supposed to be learning his weaknesses, not the other way around. This project matters to me, she said simply. Why? He asked, his gaze intent. It's more than professional ambition. I recognize the look of someone with a mission. Sophia's heart raced. Isn't building something revolutionary enough? For most people. Alexander leaned forward. But you're not most people. His hand rested inches from hers on the desk, and for a breathless moment Sophia thought he might touch her. Part of her, a traitorous, unexpected part, wanted him to. Neither are you, she replied softly. Later that night, reviewing the information she'd gathered so far, Sophia struggled to reconcile the Alexander Reed from her research. Cold, calculating, ruthless, with the man who remembered how she took her coffee and challenged her thinking in ways no one else had. The man whose rare smile made her momentarily forget why she was there. Meanwhile, Alexander sat in his penthouse, reviewing security footage of Sophia accessing the company database. Her searches were all project-related, but something about her intensity nagged at him. She was holding something back, something important. The rational part of his mind said to distance himself, to have her investigated more thoroughly, yet he found himself looking forward to their conversations, impressed by her intellect, and increasingly drawn to the mystery behind her careful composure. For the first time in years, Alexander found himself genuinely intrigued by someone, and that made Sophia Chen the most dangerous person in his life. Fractured Masks. The Autumn Gala for Reed Technologies' charitable foundation transformed the company atrium into a glittering showcase. As Chief Technology Officer, Alexander was expected to attend. As lead engineer on their flagship project, Sophia received an invitation she couldn't decline without raising suspicions. She wore a midnight blue gown that whispered against the marble floor as she navigated through clusters of Manhattan's elite. Her mission tonight: access Alexander's private office during the distraction of the event. The final pieces of evidence she needed would be there. You look like you're plotting something. Alexander's voice came from behind her. Sophia turned, composing her features into a smile. Just calculating the fastest route to the champagne. Allow me. He procured 2 glasses from a passing server, studying her with that penetrating gaze that always made her feel exposed. Blue suits you. Thank you. She accepted the glass, their fingers brushing momentarily. I'm surprised to see the notorious workaholic socializing. Alexander's mouth quirked. Even I recognize the value of appearances. His eyes never left hers as he added, though tonight, the company is more compelling than usual. Heat crept up Sophia's neck. This wasn't part of the plan. The way her pulse quickened when he looked at her, the genuine pleasure she found in his company. Dance with me, he said suddenly, setting down his glass. I don't think... One dance, Ms. Chen. Surely your mysterious agenda can wait that long. Before she could formulate a response, his hand rested lightly at her waist, guiding her to the dance floor. Sophia told herself she was maintaining her cover as she placed her hand in his, as his arm encircled her with surprising gentleness. You're full of surprises, she murmured as they moved together with unexpected harmony. As are you, his voice lowered. I've had you investigated, you know. Sophia missed a step, quickly recovering. I would expect nothing less. Your credentials check out. Your references are impeccable. Your background is... He paused. Almost too perfect. She met his gaze steadily. Perhaps I'm simply that good? Perhaps. His hand pressed slightly firmer against her back. Or perhaps you're hiding something. The music swelled around them as they moved in tense silence, bodies close, minds calculating. We all have secrets, she finally said. Alexander's expression softened unexpectedly. Yes, but not all secrets are meant to destroy. The certainty in his voice, as if he knew exactly what she intended, sent a chill through her. But before she could respond, a business associate approached, breaking the moment. Later, when she finally slipped away to his office, Sophia's hands trembled as she accessed his private files. What she found shattered her certainty. Correspondence showing her father had been embezzling funds, using company resources for gambling debts. Alexander had offered a private buyout to save Chen Innovation's reputation, an offer her father had refused before taking more desperate measures. The documents revealed a different story than the one she'd believed for 8 years. As tears blurred her vision, Sophia didn't hear the office door open behind her. "Finding what you're looking for?" Alexander asked quietly. She turned. Evidence of her father's deception displayed on the screen between them, her carefully constructed vengeance crumbling around her. "I don't understand," she whispered. Alexander's expression held no triumph, only a profound weariness. "I think you do, Sophia Chen. Or should I say Sophia Chen Nakamura?" The sound of her real name on his lips confirmed what she now knew. Her cover was broken, her mission in ruins. And the man she'd planned to destroy knew exactly who she was. Truth unveiled. The silence between them stretched taut as a wire. Outside, the gala continued, music and laughter a surreal counterpoint to the tension in Alexander's office. "How long have you known?" Sophia finally asked, her voice barely audible. Alexander moved to his desk, keeping the barrier between them. "I suspected something the day you walked into my office. The timing was too convenient, but I only confirmed your identity 2 days ago. Yet you still let me access your systems. Your data." She gestured to the screen displaying her father's financial misdeeds. "These files. I wanted to see what you'd do." His eyes held hers. "And I wanted you to see the truth." Sophia's hands curled into fists. "The truth? That you've had this evidence all along? Evidence that could have cleared your name?" "My name didn't need clearing," he replied evenly. "The business world saw a struggling company fail and a stronger one survive. Only your family believed there was something more sinister at work. My father killed himself because of you." The words burst from her, years of pain crashing through her carefully constructed composure. Alexander's expression tightened. "Your father killed himself because he couldn't face the consequences of his actions. I offered him a way out that would have preserved his dignity. He refused it. I don't believe you. The evidence is right in front of you." His voice softened fractionally. "I'm sorry, Sophia. I truly am. But your father created his own downfall. I merely refused to be dragged down with him." She turned away, struggling to reconcile this new reality with the narrative that had driven her for years. The father she'd idolized, the injustice she'd centered her life around, all of it shifting beneath her feet like sand. "Why show me this now? Why not turn me in for corporate espionage?" she asked, facing him again. Alexander's gaze was unexpectedly gentle. "Because I understand what it means to build your life around a lie. My foster father told me I was worthless, that I'd amount to nothing. I spent years proving him wrong, only to realize I was still living by his definition of success." He approached slowly, as if she were a wounded animal that might bolt. "You deserve to know the truth about your father. And he hesitated. "I wanted you to see me as I am, not as the villain in your story." The intimacy of his admission struck her more powerfully than anger could have. For 8 years, she'd shaped her life around destroying this man. Now, standing before her was someone more complex than the monster she'd imagined. Someone who had seen through her deception and still looked at her with something like compassion. "I don't know who I am without this mission," she confessed, her voice breaking. "I know exactly who you are," Alexander replied. "You're brilliant, determined, loyal to a fault." His hand lifted, hesitating before gently touching her cheek. You're the woman who challenged every assumption I've made about trust and connection since the day you walked into my office." The warmth of his palm against her skin broke something inside her. Sophia closed her eyes, tears spilling down her cheeks. "I came here to destroy you," she whispered. His thumb brushed away a tear. "I know. How can you look at me like that, knowing what I intended?" Alexander's smile was sad. "Because in trying to understand you enough to uncover your plan, I found myself caring about you in ways I never expected." The revelation hung between them, fragile and dangerous. Sophia felt herself teetering on the edge of something terrifying: forgiveness, understanding, and an attraction that had grown despite every reason it shouldn't exist. "What happens now?" she asked. Alexander's hand fell away. "That's your decision. Walk out that door, and I won't come after you. Stay, and we face whatever comes next together." The choice before her was impossible. Leave and cling to the remnants of a mission based on falsehood, or stay and build something new from the ashes of her broken purpose. As the gala continued below, Sophia made the most difficult decision of her life. Redemption's price. 6 months later, rain tapped against the windows of Sophia's apartment as she reviewed the final specifications for Project Phoenix. What had begun as Reed Technologies' security protocol had evolved into something more ambitious, a platform that protected vulnerable companies from the very kind of predatory practices she'd once believed Alexander guilty of. Her phone buzzed with a message: "Car downstairs in 10. Don't forget the proposal for Singapore." She smiled at Alexander's text, still adjusting to this new reality where they were partners instead of adversaries. Her decision to stay that night had set them on an unexpected path, one neither had navigated before. The first weeks had been the hardest. Trust built slowly, painfully, through late-night conversations where they'd stripped away pretenses. Alexander had shown her all the correspondence with her father, every legal filing, every offer of compromise that had been rejected. In turn, she'd revealed the depths of her deception, the plans she'd abandoned. "You're early," she said when she found him waiting in the lobby of her building. Alexander's eyes warmed as they met hers. The board meeting was shorter than expected. Unanimous approval for the Phoenix rollout. The elevator ride to her apartment was companionable, their conversation flowing easily between professional matters and personal observations. This was the rhythm they'd found. Colleagues and confidants, their relationship defying simple categorization. In her kitchen, Alexander loosened his tie while Sophia poured wine. "To Phoenix," he said, raising his glass, "and to second chances." "Second chances," she echoed, the weight of those words hanging between them. Later, as they reviewed the Singapore proposal on her couch, the professional distance they maintained at the office gradually dissolved. His shoulder pressed against hers as they debated implementation strategies, his hand occasionally brushing hers as they shared the tablet. "You still don't fully trust this will work, do you?" Sophia asked suddenly, setting the tablet aside. Alexander considered her question carefully. "The project or us?" "Both." He set down his wine glass. "I believe in the project because it has solid foundations." His eyes held hers. "And I believe in us because we've seen the worst of each other and chosen to stay anyway." The honesty in his voice made her breath catch. Impulsively, she reached for his hand, her fingers intertwining with his. "When I decided to stay that night," she said softly, "I thought I was choosing to start over." "But that's not quite right, is it? We're not erasing what happened. We're building something new because of it." Alexander's free hand moved to her face, tracing the curve of her cheek with a tenderness that still surprised her. "Foundations matter, even painful ones." When his lips met hers, it wasn't their first kiss. That had happened weeks ago, hesitant and questioning. This was different, an affirmation, a promise. His arms encircled her as she pressed closer, the proposal forgotten as they acknowledged what had been growing between them since that night in his office. Later, as they lay together in the darkness of her bedroom, Alexander's fingers traced patterns on her bare shoulder. "What are you thinking?" she murmured against his chest. That revenge would have been simpler than this. She propped herself up to see his face. Do you regret it? Everything that's happened? No. His answer came without hesitation. But I wonder if you do. You came looking for justice for your father. Instead, you found his flaws and chose to forgive the man you blamed. Sophia considered his words, the moonlight casting shadows across their entwined forms. I think true justice isn't what I thought it was. It's not about punishment. It's about restoration. She pressed a kiss to his palm. Phoenix isn't just a project name. It's what we're trying to do. Rise from the ashes of what was destroyed. Create something better. Alexander pulled her closer. We can't undo the past. No, she agreed. But we can choose what we build on its foundation. As dawn broke over the city, Sophia watched Alexander sleeping beside her and marveled at life's unexpected turns. She had come seeking vengeance and found redemption instead. She had planned to destroy a man and ended up helping him build something meaningful, not just a business, but a relationship founded on hard-won truth. The path ahead wouldn't be simple. Trust once broken heals slowly, but as Alexander stirred beside her, his eyes opening to meet hers with a smile that still made her heart race, Sophia knew they had chosen something more valuable than either revenge or empire. They had chosen possibility.